Hello everyone and welcome to the second Let's Play episode of Algodoo. And today I wanted to try out, as I told you last time, building a little automated cannon or gun, whatever. So first of all, I also wanted to show you a little bit. I changed the GUI to the big button size. You can, when you create new objects, define their color range. So let's say we want to have everything a little bit greenish. Saturation should be relatively high, and the brightness as well. And well, adding a little bit of variety in the transparency is also sometimes pretty cool. So, and if I now create lots of boxes, they all are greenish and sometimes transparent. Right. Yeah, and since we are on a very large scale here, the boxes seem to be floating a little bit. But yeah, let's get started, I would say. First of all, I just wanted to change the material to this to something which has a texture. The reason is, let's use rubber this time, that it is a good scale, that you otherwise don't see if you're moving, if that's just a plain color. You cannot tell if you're moving to left or right. Let me just quickly demonstrate if I'm giving it just no material at all. You will see you can barely tell from the clouds, but not from anything else. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to create a let's say it should be movable, so let's first do a little platform. Yeah, this is actually not a bad scale here, so yeah, so and I added some music in the background from a stream site where you can stream royalty-free music. I will link you to the music site in the description if you're interested in. Yeah, so geometry actions, we'll add a center axle again, and we'll make it steerable directly. So I think just right and left should be good. Yeah, something like 30 RPM. I don't know how much torque has to be yet, because yeah, we will see. Yeah, so this will be our moving underground for the cannon. So why did I put this stick here? The reason is actually pretty simple. My plan is to mount this on a circle which can turn around so that you can aim in any direction. So let's do this. Yeah, the scene is now paused. So, and it's also cool that the circle is already transparent. We also need a center axle here, and we'll already remove the collision layer for this one. And this one will have something, don't know, but definitely not A. Let's use just the last one. And I'm gonna have this steerable as well with up and down. And no, that doesn't need to be very fast. But it needs quite some torque, because yeah, I'm just going to make this very, very heavy. Let's see, the problem is if they are too heavy, I have to increase the density of the tires as well. Otherwise, they're going to sink into the ground, as you can see here. So, yeah. Yeah, right now the wheel will never stop. But my idea was that I simply add, instead of... Let me do this here. Just... well, that was the wrong button. I wanted to change the air friction multiplier. The problem is just that this script menu doesn't really fit into the screen with the big GUI. So what this does is it stops the circle by air friction, which makes it, you know, kind of smooth steer input. You can just press it a little bit. I like it if it's not just directly straight as the tires, but with some delay. You caused it, and it also makes it better possible to steer just a little bit. Otherwise, it's only... Anyway, my opinion. Okay, so next step would be we need how do you call this actually? Well, a pipe where the bullets will be shot out, and yeah, I can already directly stick it to the background here. And now you will slowly see what my idea for this is. Yeah, let's make this circle here a little bit more distinguishable. Okay, so the idea is, first of all, this one will not collide with anything, and yeah, those have already collision box A. So we need a button to fire, and let's just choose any, I don't know, comma, whatever. And this one will be pretty fast actually. Oh no, something like 3 shots per second, and can have a lot of torque as well. So let's see if it's moving. Yep. And I forgot the auto brake. Wait, can I click on the stupid thing here? No. Okay, so we should see it moving. Yep, so see. And I can also steer those and move the whole car back and forth. Okay, unfortunately I just turned it around a little bit. It's important that it's all completely straight, so I just went a step backward. The next step will be I'm adding how would you call this? Actually, for some reason this is not straight at all. Now it is. Okay. I'll just pin this one to the background for a while, so it doesn't really move or rotate at all when I'm testing out the other stuff here. So scene is running now, and I stopped it again. So the next idea is to mount a spring which is really stiff, so that it's pretty much like a bar, but it has to be a spring. You will see later on why. And the target length is already okay, and also a very high damping value. Actually, let's make this even a little bit higher. And you need a low restitution and friction for those bars. Okay. So what's supposed to happen now is, as you can see, I can't do anything when I'm trying to move the whole circle. Yep. So this acts like a cylinder, like a piston, and it will be later on shooting the projectiles. Yeah, pretty simple actually, and the linear movement here is pretty important, otherwise you won't be able to shoot very precisely if I just would mount like a circle on this to punch something. This makes it much more accurate in my, for my testings. Okay, so the circle, let's... sometimes it's a little bit annoying to... The problem is just that this friction, the torque of this motor is so high that I can barely pull it in this position here. And now this is the position where it will actually fire something. So the next step is to add a magazine. And stop the scene first. When I'm holding control and drag something, I'm copying it, and when I'm also holding shift, I cannot move it up and down. As you can see, it's always in the same line here, which makes copying stuff really, really easy. I can also do this downwards. And so let's say this is a good size. They need to be glued to the circle here. And we actually need another one of those. So now we need to mess a little bit with the collision boxes. So my idea is actually pretty simple. There will be bullets in this thing here. Something like this. Yep, it should fit into this setup here. Let's make them just black. Yeah, we can later on fill more of them in, and there will be a spring which pushes them against this, and as well as some just we need to fiddle around with the collision boxes so that the bullets are always saved into the magazine and being shot by this piston here, but at the same time they, for example, can pass through these blocks here. Can also could cut them down, but yeah, actually why not? Okay, so always watch out what you have selected here. And to press the bullets upwards, I'm just gonna add a little bigger box here. Doesn't have to be everything in green. And a spring. This spring here will be having a very large target length. We have to see that it's, well, if you compare this is roughly 2 meters, so let's make it actually a little bit more than this. Something like 3 meters. The damping should be pretty high as well, and it doesn't need to be very strong. So if I'm quickly testing it, it should push up. Yep. And we also saw that I forgot to mount this part here again to the background, because the fixation was only on the right side. Okay, let's see. Ta-da! Works. And yeah, it's already pretty almost done, pretty much. Just trying to make this a little bit more precise. The crucial part will now be that we add a little bumper. And this will first have a high density and a very high restitution. So restitution 1 means that object doesn't lose kinetic energy when it bounces from something. It's like an elastic bounce. But if I increase this is also, you can't do this in real life, but who cares? I can just add a 0 here, or add another 0. What will happen is, if it's like a rubber ball, if I drop this, it will fly 100 times higher than than from the height it started on. I can also just show this by actually applying this to a circle here. Let's do this. So the point is, it also depends on the bounciness of the material it's colliding with, but the restitution here is already at 0.8. So yeah, let's set this one to, I think 2 is already enough. Hopefully. Yep. Ta-da. Jumps higher and higher. It won't go infinitely high because there's also air friction, which at some point will stop it from going higher. But you see, it's increasing its height, which is pretty weird, but it makes it possible to build very cool cannons. Okay, we need to get this one back. Yep. Okay. Now let's see. I could actually try to make this box a little bit larger here, and it should also have low friction, and this one should have very low restitution, otherwise it will just bounce too much. Yeah, and we already set the restitution for this one. So let's try something out. Yeah, first of all, yeah, this is why I need the spring. So if the magazine is empty, you will see the spring will just, yeah, it won't go crazy. The spring will just collapse a little bit, and therefore, yeah, not destroy the whole thing here. And to avoid this box from glitching so much, I can try to make its density higher. That normally fixes a lot of problems. Let's see. Well, in this case, it just made it too heavy for the spring here. Yeah, as you see, if it's too low, it starts rotating and stuff. So let's just make it a little bit higher and also increase the strength of the spring. Ah, looks much better. It's almost stiff now. That's fine. Yeah. So we can actually add some bullets already. I'll just make a magazine in the back, which I can always use to fill this all in. Oh yeah, those are those cubes we created at the beginning. Yeah, let's see how large is something which can fit into this. We need to have it around as big as this chamber here and around as wide as the chamber, so this is the proper height. Now let's just make it a little bit wider and it should be perfect. Yeah, once again setting it to black. Oh, let's actually have it a little bit transparent, looks pretty cool. So first of all, we need to think about the collision boxes. I think just collision box A is fine. Then the friction can also be low. We can set the restitution to a low value, but not too low, otherwise it will not be accelerated by this red box. And what is pretty cool is if you add a tracer at the center. So tracer, what it does is, let's give it a cool color. Yeah, why not blue? I can actually quickly start the scene to show you what it does. Ta-da! It draws yeah, along the pathway. So we'll have you can directly see where the bullets are flying to, and yeah, their direction of flight, which is pretty cool. Just copying some of them. Best part is that you can, if you copy 2, then you can copy 4 and so on. So you can very quickly stack those. And I think some more will fit into the chamber. Yep, this should be good. And this tower is about to move to the side. Okay, now, yeah, I just actually need to crack this downwards. Get rid of this guy. And copy those in. And let's see what happens. Oh dear. There's also a cool option here, is selection select alike. Problem is that those bullets are just a little bit, have too less density. Yep, this looks better. And the music is a little bit crazy. Let me quickly change the music, I'll be right back. Okay, so I think we are ready for our first test here. So let's just see what happens. Aha! Almost already working. So point is, what I forgot is to add this tracer to all of them. And tracer. Okay. I think this one has 2 tracers now. Yeah, okay. Now they are black, but it doesn't really matter. And I also just saw that the spring is a little bit too weak still. Or maybe the damping is too high, I don't know. And also we need a little bit more power here, so let's pimp this up a little bit. 500. And see what happens. Oh. Lol. Okay, you first of all need get the friction of this one lower and increase the stiffness of the spring here. It's way too weak. Not quite. Okay. Well, yeah, that's always the problem with this program here. You have to really know what you are actually doing here. So what could be the issue? So let's try to make this a little bit heavier. So the problem is that those bullets are probably a little bit too small, so that I'm always hitting the second one as well. I guess. Yep. So it's actually not that bad already. Yeah, let's just make them a little bit higher. Then it should actually work fine. Okay, now they are stacked properly. %10 more height. Okay, now the question is if they actually still fit into the outcoming chamber there, but I can actually make this wider if that's a problem. Okay, so we need to drag it down. Ah. Come on. Why is this freaking out so bad? Always not too easy to get those springs working without too much pressure. And let's see. Oh well, maybe it barely fits through this chamber. But they don't seem to be flying very precisely. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this was already almost perfect, I think. There's actually something I'm going to try out now. And that's let me think about it a moment. So the problem is that just this pipe here is a little bit too small. That's all. Okay. Let's actually clean up this mess around here. And try it one more time. Hooray! Okay, and how precisely did they fly? Can just reverse this a little bit. And now we can test out the whole contraption. Okay, there's a little bit of error in it, but it's not too bad. It's actually pretty precise. That's cool. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Can we already steer it? Yep. Ta-da! Now let's just build something to shoot at, I guess. And also we can try out the aim. Oh yeah, this thing is cool. Whoa! And there it comes. Yeah, a 360-degree automatic shotgun. Only the magazine is a little bit small. And also the shots are not really flying straight. But actually, I could also try to just increase the length of the tube here. Let's do this. Okay, done. And we are still mounted to this. Go. Okay. Yeah, it's not the most accurate gun in the world, but you can hit something with it. Also, if you look at the bullets, they are flying actually quite straight, which is pretty cool. Oh, what happened over here? Okay, so cannon is done. I will quickly set up a building here. Woohoo! Okay, and also clone some of the bullets here. Okay. Yeah, this actually it needs a little bit more torque. And oh yeah, totally forgot. Before I can copy it. Ta-da! Okay, let's save the scene here. AutoShotgun, and you can also get this as a download if you want to in the description. And last but not least, try it out one more time. Fire! Oh yeah, baby, that's crazy. Okay, one shot was enough. Okay, let's try it again. I improved a little bit, I tried to improve the cannon a little bit more. Oh yeah. Okay, so this building had no chance. And I should be able to shoot in actually every angle. I guess, yeah, we are colliding with the tire here, but shooting downwards isn't much of a problem. Yeah, so if you want to, you can also download this scene here now. I think that's it for today. And yeah, try to build something cool with it, like yeah, something to shoot at, not just like this crappy building here. But yeah, the scene will be downloadable. So see you next time, and I hope you had a little bit of fun, and goodbye.